Hey guys, this is Melanie from Softening Hearts Therapy, and in this video we will be practicing how to express your emotions wisely. So this is the last video in this series of somatic exercises to heal your nervous system. So if you haven't watched the other videos yet, I encourage you to go and watch those. And before we get into this one, I just wanted to quickly share that so I had finished recording all of the other exercises, and then I just felt the Holy Spirit urging me to add this one. So I just pray that it's helpful for you, because I really felt that this kind of ties everything together, and that, just how God led me to share this one when I wasn't even really originally planning on it. It just shows that God really cares about how we feel. He cares about us expressing our emotions and having us do it in a way that is wise and controlled. So we are going to get into it now. So when we look at biblical examples of emotional expression, we see it throughout the entire Bible. We see it in the Old Testament, in the New Testament, throughout everything. We see it, everywhere. In the book of Job, him crying out to God about what he's going through. We see David doing it often in the Psalms. We see all of the prophets doing it. There's literally a book of lamentations, of just pouring the heart out. One thing too that I always noticed in the Bible was how expressive culturally the Jews were with their emotions. Even if someone was mourning, they would tear their clothes, they would put on sackcloth and ashes. And so everyone would see that they're mourning. And how often we see he fell face down and wept bitterly and things like that, language like that. So we can see so much colorful emotion throughout the Bible. And I can't help but notice how, just contrasting that to the way we are with our emotions today, especially in Western society, how we hide how we feel a lot of the times, and we suppress what we feel, and we put on a happy face, and we apologize if we're upset, we apologize if we're crying, and we really see what the consequences are of this. And I really think in the church too, there's a real misunderstanding of emotions and how to deal with emotions well, what they are, and what to do with them. And I think that's something that we've really we've actually really taken on from the world, and it's been really twisted as if not having emotions honors God and honors the freedom in Christ, that we should only feel joyful, that we should have that self-control means we don't show any emotion or things like that, when that's just not true. And we can see in the Bible, we even see Jesus's example of him expressing very colorful emotion. When he got angry and he flipped the tables, when Lazarus had died, and Jesus actually wept when he knew that he was going to raise him from the dead, but he actually wept. And so we see even Jesus shows us examples of expressing emotion. So it's very important. We see that it's important to God. God actually cares how we feel, and is showing us really beautiful, numerous examples of how to express emotion. So we're going to talk about that more in depth in this video, and just practice how to do that. So just to really drive this point home, I want to share some consequences of not expressing emotion, of holding our emotions in, suppressing them, feeling ashamed of them, just not letting them out. So we feel emotions for a number of reasons, right? Our emotions can be righteous or unrighteous. Our emotions are still a product of this sinful world at times. Sometimes we might have faulty beliefs or faulty assumptions of things that are based on our own sinful desires or our own experiences of trauma that are not based in truth, and our emotions can result from that. Or our emotions can be righteous, can actually direct us to more righteousness and direct us to the heart of God more. So for example, if we see an injustice occurring and we feel angry at that, that is giving us a hint of how God feels when he sees injustice, when he sees his children committing sin or harming each other, how he feels. And so it gives us a better picture of who God is and how he responds to injustice and sin. And if we are ignoring or suppressing our emotions, or we're not even aware of them, it can actually get stuck in the body. And when this happens, our emotions don't just go away. No matter how much we try and push them away or suppress them, they don't just go away. They will often leak out and bring things out like impulsive behaviors or aggressive behaviors out of nowhere, or you might feel angry at the simplest, smallest things, or you might find yourself crying at random points and not knowing why. It's because there's emotion that's inside of you that's stuck and needs to be expressed, needs to be let out in order for your body to go back to rest, back to homeostasis. And over time, stuck emotion in the body can actually cause sickness in our bodies. And not expressing our emotion really gets in the way of our relationship with other people, as well as our relationship with God. And I find a key barrier that often gets in the way of us being willing and open to express emotion is being afraid of vulnerability. So maybe when we were growing up, we heard messages like, don't cry, or there's nothing to be sad about, or stop crying. And we learned very young to suppress emotion. And I mean, a lot of us, I think that's just a cultural norm, unfortunately, that is not based on God's truth. And so we are afraid to show that emotion because it's been so ingrained in us that it's bad to feel hard things. It's bad to feel unhappy, or it's bad to feel sad or afraid or angry, when it's just a part of our human experience. It can be scary to show others our emotions because we don't know how they're going to respond to them. It puts us in a very vulnerable position to be rejected by someone else, which is very scary. But something that God revealed to me, was that freedom in Christ doesn't mean that you never feel hard things or never go through hard things. I mean, Jesus told us we will have trouble in this life. So yeah, something that God revealed to me was being free in Christ doesn't mean we are free from emotional waves or difficult emotions, but it actually means that we are free to be vulnerable with our emotions, that we don't have to be scared about someone else rejecting us or shaming our emotion. We don't need to be afraid of that because we belong to Christ, because we belong to God, and we're so secure in him that it doesn't matter how someone else responds to our emotions. So we don't have to put up these walls. We can be vulnerable. We can be that example to the world of vulnerability with your emotions, of truly having an open heart to others. So in order to express your emotions with wisdom and with self-control, first of all, you need to actually be aware of what you're feeling. Many of us go throughout our day-to-day lives, we have no idea what's going on inside of us. And so the previous exercise that we did, the previous video that I shared in this series about developing self-awareness and noticing your inner experience, practicing that will help you develop that awareness of your inner experience, of your thoughts, your emotions, your sensations in your body, and you'll just start to notice it throughout your day-to-day life. Practice this often, just by yourself in prayer with God. Practice noticing what's going on inside of you and asking God to help you work through it and help reveal to you. It might be like, I have no idea what I'm feeling. God, help me understand, help me see what I'm feeling, reveal to me what I'm feeling. And do this regularly to build that awareness. And as you do this too, you'll actually build the language to be able to describe how you're feeling. So, for example, in those worksheets, one of them gives you language to describe sensations in your body. So, I'm feeling really tense, or I'm feeling really hot, or I'm feeling butterflies in my tummy, or my body is really tingly right now. Being able to actually put words to what you're feeling is super helpful in expressing it, as well as having that language for the emotions that you're feeling, those emotion labels that we shared in the emotions wheel. And the next step in this is actually expressing what you're feeling. So there's different ways you can express. Number one, expressing what you're feeling to God. This is, I'm going to say, most important, is expressing what you're feeling to God. Because he's our Father, he's our teacher, our guide, our everything. So he's going to help you work through it and heal it and process it and just teach you what you need to know, heal what needs to be healed, and just give you exactly what you need, And he's the safest one to express our emotions too. And the next way to express is to actually express to other people what you're feeling. Jesus actually told us we need to love one another as he has loved us. We have commandments in the New Testament to carry each other's burdens, to mourn with those who mourn, and rejoice with those who rejoice. But if we're not sharing our hearts with each other, we can't do that. We can't follow what Jesus told us to do, what he still to this day tells us to do. So we need to be able to share our hearts with each other. And Jesus also told us that the way we love each other will show the world that we belong to him. So we need to be loving each other in that way. Sharing our hearts with each other, being vulnerable with each other, sharing what we feel. And another way to express your emotions is through symbolic behaviors or gestures or acts. So writing music, or creating art, or dancing, or just moving your body, or even in the Bible when we see when someone's mourning how they wear sackcloth and ashes, that is a way of expressing what you're feeling without words. Symbolic expression is very powerful too. So the point here is find ways to express your emotions in a healthy way, and keeping in mind that we are to bless those who curse us and love our enemies. So if someone wrongs you and you're feeling really angry and you want to just curse them and swear at them and just lash out at them, we need to have that self-awareness, that self-control, that regulated nervous system that's at rest, so that we can actually respond well, respond with love. And the exercises in this series will actually help you develop that so that you can do that. So I want to give actually a little example just of how this would practically look. So let's say an example is you have plans with a friend and they cancel last minute without any explanation. Let's say you're feeling really hurt, really confused, and rejected about this, and you're feeling angry about it. And so how would we respond to this? What would we do? So what we can do to develop that awareness of what you're feeling is, again, bring that to prayer to God. Let all of your raw emotion out to God. And then over time, develop that self-awareness and that control. So letting that out to him, letting out those emotions to him, bringing that worksheet, the Noticing Inner Experience worksheet, and asking God to speak into it for you, what your thoughts are saying. Let's say my thoughts are, wow, she didn't want to hang out with me. She never wanted to in the first place. Nobody wants to hang out with me. I'm unlovable. Let's say I realize my thoughts are going down that, are snowballing like that. And the sensations in my body, let's say my sensations are, I'm feeling a pit in my stomach. I'm feeling tension in my chest. I'm feeling hot. My jaw is feeling clenched. and I realize I'm feeling angry, I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling rejected, I'm feeling abandoned, and I'm feeling afraid. So those would be the emotions. And so pulling apart all of that in that worksheet, and then I say, okay, God, what is going on here? What is going on within me? And God can respond in many ways. It could be an indication of something in your past that needs healing. Let's say experiencing some kind of rejection in your past that you haven't healed or processed with the Lord. Or maybe it's an indicator of a friendship or relationship that has not been well. Or maybe it's just a miscommunication, and you're just not seeing the full picture of what is going on with your friend. So it could be any one of these things, and God will reveal to you exactly what you need in the moment. And then actually expressing this to your friends. A great way to express emotions to others is to use I statements. So for example, when you canceled, I felt sad. When you didn't have a reason for canceling, I felt confused. I didn't know why you were canceling, and I'm wondering if there's a problem, or you can express it that way. And I really want to stress too, regardless of how someone responds, it is actually healing your nervous system just to express how you're feeling. We are not so much as focused and concerned with how the other person responds, although of course it matters to us. Of course we care how someone else responds to us and how they feel about us. Of course we care about that. And however someone responds, we can process that with God and know that no matter what, we belong to God and we are safe and have our place, that we belong with Him forever. So just having the security in that, and knowing that you're being healed as you express your heart to someone else, regardless of how they respond. So I really pray that you would just really focus your mind on that aspect of it and that benefit of it. Okay, so that's it for this video. Please let me know if you have any questions or comments about any of these videos in this series. And again, if you haven't seen the rest of the videos in this series, I highly recommend you go and watch them. The playlist is titled Somatic Exercises to Heal Your Nervous System. I will link the playlist at the end of this video. And feel free to like and subscribe to my channel for more content like this. And I really just pray that after this series, you realize that the goodness of God on a deeper level, how much He cares for us, for our hearts, and that how deeply He cares that we tend to our hearts and tend to each other's hearts. And I pray that this series was helpful in you learning how to do that. So God bless you and take care.